7,000 tons of American technology, submerged 400 feet below the surface, moving silently through hostile waters at speeds exceeding 30 knots. Invisible to satellites, undetectable by surface ships, carrying enough firepower to destroy entire nations. You think you know what's on a nuclear submarine. You've heard about the missiles. You know about the torpedoes. You've read that submarines can stay submerged for months at a time, that they're powered by nuclear reactors providing unlimited range, that they're the ultimate stealth platforms, silent hunters prowling the depths while adversaries search frantically on the surface. That's the public narrative, the declassified capabilities, the information that appears in documentaries and official Navy fact sheets. The systems they're comfortable acknowledging because even knowing they exist doesn't compromise operational effectiveness. But buried within the pressure hull, protected by security clearances that exceed top secret, operated by sailors who sign non-disclosure agreements that last for decades, are technologies so advanced that their full capabilities remain hidden even from most of the crew operating the submarine. These aren't experimental systems. These aren't future concepts awaiting funding. These are operational technologies, deployed right now, on Virginia-class attack submarines prowling the South China Sea, on Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines maintaining strategic deterrence in the Atlantic and Pacific, on Seawolf-class boats conducting intelligence operations in areas the Navy will never publicly acknowledge, and adversaries are terrified of what they don't know. Chinese admirals lose sleep wondering how American submarines track their vessels without being detected. Russian naval commanders question how U.S. boats penetrate defended bastions that should be impenetrable. Because they're fighting an enemy they can't see, can't hear, and can't counter. This is submarine warfare in the 21st century, not the Hollywood version, not the Cold War tactics your grandfather remembers. This is information age naval combat, where the most advanced sensors, weapons, and stealth technologies ever developed are packaged into vessels that operate in the most hostile environment on Earth. And we're about to reveal all 7 systems. Because Americans deserve to understand what their submarine force actually does. What capabilities exist beneath the waves? What technologies ensure that American submarines remain the most feared weapons platforms in any Navy's arsenal? You think submarine warfare is about being quiet. You assume the quietest submarine wins. You believe that acoustic stealth is the ultimate submarine capability. You're only seeing half the equation. The Advanced Acoustic Superiority Suite aboard Virginia-class submarines isn't just about being quiet, though these boats are astonishingly silent, quieter than the ambient ocean noise in many conditions. It's about hearing everything else while remaining unheard yourself. Modern submarines carry acoustic sensor arrays that make civilian sonar systems look like children's toys. The bow-mounted spherical array contains thousands of hydrophones, acoustic sensors, arranged in a massive sphere that provides 360-degree acoustic coverage. But that's just the beginning. The TB-34 towed array, a cable extending thousands of feet behind the submarine, carrying hundreds of additional hydrophones, provides long-range detection capability that can track contacts over 100 miles away. But it's not just the hardware that's revolutionary, it's the processing. The acoustic data from thousands of hydrophones is processed by artificial intelligence systems that can distinguish between biological noise, whales, dolphins, shrimp, and man-made contacts. That can identify specific ship classes based on acoustic signature. That can detect submarines running ultra-quiet at ranges where traditional sonar would hear nothing but ocean noise. The system builds acoustic libraries of every known vessel. Russian Akula-class submarines have distinctive pump noise. Chinese Type 093 boats have specific blade rate signatures from their propellers. Surface ships leave acoustic fingerprints based on their machinery, hull design, and propulsion systems. When an American submarine detects a contact, the system compares the acoustic signature against these libraries and identifies the target. Not just submarine detected, but Russian Yasen-class submarine, specific hull number, track number, bearing, range, course, and speed. But the truly classified capability is active acoustic superiority. Traditional thinking says submarines never use active sonar because it reveals your position, like shining a flashlight in a dark room. Virginia-class boats can use advanced active sonar techniques that defeat this limitation. Low probability of intercept sonar transmissions that are difficult for adversaries to detect or classify. Bistatic operations, where one submarine transmits and another receives, making it nearly impossible to determine which boat is actively pinging. Frequency agile transmissions that avoid detection by enemy sonar warning systems. You're a Chinese submarine commander. You're running ultra quiet, confident in your stealth. Suddenly, your sonar warning receiver detects a brief transmission. Before you can react, before you can determine bearing or range, it's gone. Was it a submarine? Surface ship? False alarm? Meanwhile, the American submarine that pinged you has your exact location, has been tracking you for hours, and is maneuvering into firing position while you're still trying to figure out what you heard. That's acoustic superiority, not just being quiet, dominating the acoustic environment so completely that adversaries are blind while you see everything. Forget periscopes. The traditional optical tube extending from the control room through the hull is obsolete. Modern submarines don't have them. They have something far more capable. The photonics mast, a non-hull penetrating sensor suite that contains high-definition cameras, infrared sensors, laser rangefinders, and electronic support measures, all in a package that barely breaks the surface when raised. The implications are enormous. Traditional periscopes required the control room to be directly beneath the penetration point. Limited submarine internal layout. Created vulnerability because the hull penetration was a structural weak point, and provided limited sensor capability, basically a telescope with some magnification. The photonics mast eliminates all these limitations. It's not mechanically connected to the control room. Instead, it transmits high-definition video and sensor data digitally to displays throughout the submarine. The commanding officer can view the mast feed from anywhere aboard. Multiple watchstanders can observe simultaneously. Recording and analysis happen in real time. But the cameras are the least impressive capability. The integrated electronic support measures, passive detection of radar and radio emissions, allow the submarine to identify and track surface ships without ever using active sensors. The submarine remains undetected while building a complete electronic order of battle of every emitter in the area. The infrared sensors detect heat signatures. Aircraft engine exhaust is visible at extended ranges. Surface ships show thermal patterns that identify their class and activity. Even periscope wakes from other submarines. Tiny temperature differentials in the water surface can be detected. And the laser rangefinder provides precision targeting data. Point the mast at a surface target. The laser measures exact range within meters. Feed that data to the fire control system. Launch a torpedo or anti-ship missile with targeting accuracy that's simply impossible with traditional optical rangefinding. But the Virginia Payload Module boats, extended Virginia-class submarines with additional missile capacity, add another revolutionary capability, the Large Vertical Array. This is a sonar array mounted on the bow that provides high-frequency active and passive sonar capability previously unavailable on submarines. Combined with the photonics mast and other sensors, Virginia-class boats have sensor fusion, combining data from acoustic, optical, infrared, electronic, and radar sensors into unified tactical picture. The submarine doesn't just hear contacts or see them. It has complete multi-spectral awareness of everything in the surrounding environment. You're operating a surface ship in contested waters. Your radar sweeps the horizon. Your sonar searches the depths. Your infrared watch scans for threats. Everything appears normal. 3 miles away, at periscope depth, an American submarine is watching you. Recording your radar emissions. Photographing your hull number. Measuring your exact range with lasers. Building a complete profile of your capabilities, your systems, your vulnerabilities. And you have no idea it's there. That's information dominance. That's what modern submarine sensors provide. Some Virginia-class submarines and modified Ohio-class guided missile submarines carry capabilities that most submariners never see. The ability to deploy and recover Special Operations Forces, Navy SEALs, and other special operators directly from submerged submarines in hostile waters. The dry deck shelter, a module mounted on the submarine's missile deck, provides a pressurized hangar where SEALs can prepare for missions, launch SEAL delivery vehicles, miniature submarines carrying combat swimmers, and lock out for underwater infiltration. But that's the acknowledged capability. What's not discussed is how sophisticated these operations have become. Modern submarines can approach hostile shores within miles, remaining completely undetected. They can deploy special operations forces who conduct reconnaissance, direct action missions, or intelligence gathering operations. Then recover those forces days or weeks later at predetermined coordinates. The submarine acts as an underwater mothership, providing life support, command and control, intelligence support, and extraction capability. SEALs can operate knowing that extraction is guaranteed. The submarine will be there at the precise location and time, regardless of conditions. And the submarines carry systems specifically designed to support these operations. Underwater communication systems allowing two-way data exchange between the submarine and deployed swimmers. Navigation aids enabling SEALs to locate the submarine in complete darkness and limited visibility. Diver propulsion devices extending range and reducing physical exhaustion. But the truly classified capability is the integration with national intelligence systems. The submarine receives real-time intelligence updates, satellite imagery, signals intelligence, human intelligence, all passed to deployed SEAL teams through secure underwater communication links. Operators conducting missions inside hostile territory have access to intelligence that would normally require returning to base, except the base is a submerged submarine, providing that intelligence in real time. You're a hostile nation. You have a heavily defended coastal facility conducting activities that threaten American interests. The facility is inland, beyond the reach of missiles or aircraft without triggering major conflict. Your security forces patrol constantly. Your intelligence services monitor for threats. And then, evidence appears. Equipment has been tampered with. Computer systems have been accessed. Intelligence has been compromised. But there's no evidence of how, no insertion detected, no extraction observed. Your security was never breached according to all your systems. Because the insertion and extraction happened underwater. SEALs locked out from a submarine offshore, swam to an infiltration point, conducted their mission, and returned to the submarine, all without ever being detected by your sensors or observed by your personnel. That's submarine-launched special operations. That's capability that extends American power into areas that should be unreachable. The Virginia Payload Module, VPM, is an additional hull section inserted into Virginia-class Block V and later submarines. It adds 84 feet to the submarine's length and provides 4 large-diameter vertical launch tubes. Each tube can carry 7 Tomahawk cruise missiles. That's 28 additional Tomahawks. Combined with the standard 12 missile capacity in the bow, these submarines carry 40 Tomahawk cruise missiles, more firepower than many surface combatants. And they deliver it from a platform that can position within striking distance without being detected. But Tomahawks are just the beginning. The large diameter tubes, 87 inches across, can accommodate weapons and systems that standard submarine launch tubes cannot. And that's where classification begins. Hypersonic weapons are being adapted for submarine launch. Missiles that can strike targets over 1,000 miles away at speeds exceeding Mach 5, launched from submarines operating in areas where adversaries don't even know American boats are present. The strategic implications are staggering. No warning. No ability to track the launch platform. Just hypersonic weapons appearing from nowhere and destroying high-value targets before defenses can react. Large-diameter unmanned underwater vehicles, autonomous submarines that can be deployed from VPM tubes, are operationally tested. These UUVs can conduct mine countermeasures, intelligence gathering, anti-submarine warfare, and even offensive operations. They're expendable, they're deniable, and they extend the submarine's reach into areas too shallow, too defended, or too risky for manned penetration. Special operations payloads, entire SEAL teams with equipment, can be deployed from VPM tubes using specially designed modules. The submarine becomes a covert insertion platform that can deliver more personnel with more equipment than previous capabilities allowed. And defensive payloads, countermeasures, decoys, and systems designed to defeat anti-submarine weapons can be carried in quantities that make the submarine nearly invulnerable to adversary attack. But here's what really terrifies adversaries. They don't know what's in those tubes. A Virginia-class submarine with VPM approaches their waters. Is it carrying 40 Tomahawks? Is it carrying hypersonic weapons? Is it deploying UUVs? Is it launching special operations forces? Is it carrying some classified capability they don't even know exists? The uncertainty is paralyzing. They can't defend against threats they can't identify. Can't prioritize defenses when they don't know what weapons the submarine carries. Can't develop countermeasures to systems that remain classified. That's strategic ambiguity. That's what VPM provides. Flexibility that forces adversaries to defend against every possibility, spreading their defensive resources impossibly thin. Submarines operate in complete darkness. No windows, no external visibility. Navigation relies entirely on sensors and charts. And traditional methods, active sonar that reveals your position, periscope observations that require coming shallow, compromise stealth. The Integrated Submarine Imaging System, ISIS, changes everything. Using advanced sonar processing, gravitational sensors, and terrain-matching algorithms, ISIS allows submarines to navigate with precision in areas where traditional methods would be impossible or dangerous. The system builds three-dimensional acoustic images of the surrounding environment, not just detecting contacts, actually creating visual quality images from sonar returns. Underwater terrain, seamounts, wrecks, undersea cables, pipelines, all visible to the submarine without compromising stealth. But the truly revolutionary capability is terrain-matching navigation. The system compares sonar-generated terrain maps with stored bathymetric charts, determines the submarine's precise position based on matching underwater features, provides navigation accuracy comparable to GPS, except it works underwater, in areas where GPS signals don't penetrate, and without transmitting any signals that could be detected. This enables operations in shallow water, in littoral environments, in areas with complex underwater terrain, all without risk of grounding, collision, or detection. The submarine can navigate through underwater canyons, approach shallow coastlines, transit narrow straits, all in complete darkness, at speed, with absolute confidence in positioning. And the gravitational sensors detect minute variations in Earth's gravitational field caused by density changes in the seafloor. These variations create a unique gravitational signature for every location on Earth. By measuring these variations, the submarine can determine its position with precision measured in single-digit meters. No external signals required. No emissions to be detected. Just passive measurement of natural phenomena providing navigation accuracy that adversaries can't jam, spoof, or interfere with. You're defending a narrow strait that submarines must transit to reach open ocean. You've mapped the area. Deployed sensors. Established choke points. You know that submarines transiting must either use active sonar, revealing their position, or proceed slowly and carefully to avoid grounding. An American submarine enters the strait at 20 knots, in complete acoustic silence. Never uses active sonar. Never comes shallow, and transits the entire length of the strait without incident, without detection, arriving in open ocean before your sensors ever detected its presence. Because it was using ISIS. Navigating with precision using passive sensors and terrain matching. Operating at speeds you assumed were impossible in confined waters. Defeating your defenses without ever revealing itself. That's navigation superiority. That's operating freely in areas where adversaries think submarines are constrained. Modern naval warfare isn't just kinetic, missiles and torpedoes. It's electromagnetic. Radar, communications, electronic signals. The submarine that dominates the electromagnetic spectrum gains decisive advantage. The classified electromagnetic warfare suite aboard Virginia-class submarines provides capabilities that most naval professionals don't know exist. Advanced electronic support measures that can intercept and analyze adversary communications, radar emissions, and data transmissions. Signal intelligence collection that rivals dedicated intelligence vessels. And offensive electronic attack capabilities that can disrupt, deceive, or destroy adversary electronics. The submarine can detect adversary radar emissions at ranges far exceeding the radar's ability to detect the submarine. Can classify those radars, determine if they're search radars, fire control radars, missile guidance systems. Can provide warning of threats before those threats can engage. But it goes further. The system can intercept adversary communications. Not just detect that communication is happening, actually receive and record the transmissions. Encrypted military communications, commercial shipping traffic, civil government transmissions, all collected, recorded, and exploited. And the submarine can conduct offensive electronic warfare, jamming adversary radars at critical moments, creating false targets that appear on enemy displays, interfering with communications during crucial operations, all while remaining submerged and undetected. The integration with national intelligence systems provides real-time updates on adversary capabilities. When Chinese forces deploy new radar systems, when Russian submarines modify their communications protocols, when adversaries upgrade their electronic warfare capabilities, submarines receive updated threat libraries, allowing them to counter new systems immediately. And the submarine contributes to national intelligence. Every electronic emission detected, every communication intercepted, every radar characterized, all fed back to intelligence agencies building complete electronic orders of battle of adversary forces. But the most classified capability is submarine to satellite communication at depth. Traditional thinking says submarines must come shallow, near the surface, to communicate with satellites. Virginia-class boats have systems that allow data transmission to overhead satellites while remaining at significant depth. Extremely low-frequency communication. Laser communication through the water. Techniques that remain classified but provide the ability to maintain connectivity without compromising stealth. You're an adversary, conducting sensitive communications. Using encrypted military networks. Confident that your signals are secure. Not knowing that a submerged American submarine miles away is collecting every transmission, recording everything, passing it to intelligence agencies that will exploit your communications to understand your capabilities, intentions, and vulnerabilities. That's information warfare. That's the submarine operating not just as a weapons platform, but as an intelligence collection asset that adversaries can't detect or counter. This is the capability that represents quantum leap in submarine warfare. The system that adversaries fear most because it fundamentally changes engagement dynamics. Advanced artificial intelligence integrated into weapons control systems. Not just fire control computers, actual autonomous systems that can detect, classify, track, and engage targets faster than human operators can process information. The submarine's combat system receives data from all sensors: acoustic, electronic, optical. AI processes this data instantly, correlates contacts across multiple sensors, builds a complete tactical picture showing every contact, every threat, every target within hundreds of miles. And then it makes recommendations. Priority targets. Optimal weapons for each target. Engagement sequences that maximize probability of kill while minimizing weapon expenditure. All presented to human operators who maintain authorization authority but have decision support that processes information at speeds impossible for unassisted humans. But the truly revolutionary capability, and the most highly classified, is autonomous engagement authority in specific scenarios. When the submarine detects incoming weapon, torpedo, or missile, the system can automatically deploy countermeasures, maneuver to evade, and engage the launch platform without waiting for human authorization. Because in modern submarine warfare, engagement windows are measured in seconds. An adversary fires a torpedo. The submarine has maybe 30-60 seconds to respond before the weapon becomes unavoidable. Human operators cannot process information, make decisions, and execute responses fast enough. AI can. The system detects the torpedo launch acoustically, instantaneously classifies the weapon type, determines bearing to the launch platform, calculates optimal response, deploy acoustic countermeasures to decoy the weapon, launch own torpedo at the adversary before he can evade, maneuver to open bearing and increase range, and executes, all in under 5 seconds. The adversary thinks he has surprise, thinks his torpedo will hit before the American submarine can react. Instead, his own submarine is evading an incoming weapon launched before his crew even realized they'd been counter-detected. That's autonomous warfare. That's AI-assisted combat systems providing reaction speed that human operators cannot match. And it extends beyond defense. The system can prosecute multiple targets simultaneously, can coordinate attacks with other submarines and surface units, can execute complex multi-platform engagements where weapons from different platforms arrive on targets simultaneously from different directions, overwhelming adversary defenses. You're commanding a submarine task force, multiple boats coordinating to locate and destroy an American submarine. You've established search pattern, coordinated your units, prepared to mass fires when contact is made. One of your submarines detects the American boat, begins weapons launch sequence. Before your submarine can fire, it's hit by a torpedo launched from a bearing where no contact existed. Simultaneously, your other submarine 30 miles away is under attack, and your surface support ships are evading anti-ship missiles, because the American submarine detected all of your units. Used AI-assisted targeting to prioritize threats, coordinated engagement sequence, launching torpedo at closest submarine while transmitting targeting data to VPM-launched weapons that prosecuted your other assets. All executed in the time your submarine commander was confirming targeting solution. That's not human reaction time. That's machine speed applied to combat operations. That's the autonomous targeting system making American submarines effectively unbeatable in submarine versus submarine warfare. These 7 systems, acoustic superiority, advanced sensors, special operations capability, expanded payload capacity, precision navigation, electromagnetic warfare, and autonomous targeting, don't exist in isolation. They're integrated, networked, creating platforms that operate at capability levels that adversaries literally cannot match. China is building submarines at impressive rates. Russia maintains a submarine force with legacy Cold War boats and newer designs. Both nations invest billions trying to develop capabilities that challenge American undersea dominance. And they're failing. Because building submarines is one thing. Building submarines with these technologies is entirely different. The sensors alone require manufacturing precision, signal processing capability, and acoustic understanding that took America decades to develop. The weapons integration requires software sophistication and combat systems expertise that can't be stolen or copied. The autonomous systems require artificial intelligence development and human-machine integration that represents bleeding-edge technology. American submarines aren't just better than adversary boats. They're operating in a different technological generation, like comparing stealth fighters to World War II propeller aircraft. Both are aircraft. But the capability gap is so enormous that direct comparison is meaningless, and that gap is maintained through continuous investment, relentless training, and absolute commitment to maintaining undersea superiority. Every day, American submarines are operating in areas adversaries consider their home waters, collecting intelligence, tracking adversary forces, maintaining readiness to execute strike missions if national command authority directs, and adversaries know they're there. No submarines are present. but can't detect them, can't track them, can't counter them. That's strategic deterrence through technological superiority. 12 Virginia-class submarines are operational. 3 Seawolf-class boats continue service. 4 Ohio-class guided missile submarines provide massive strike capability. And 14 Ohio-class ballistic missile submarines maintain nuclear deterrence. Each one carries technologies that represent the pinnacle of American engineering and naval capability. Each one is crewed by volunteers who undergo the most demanding training in military service. Each one operates in conditions that would terrify most people, submerged for months in confined spaces, knowing that mechanical failure or enemy action could kill everyone aboard. And they do it silently, without recognition, without public acknowledgement. Because submarine operations are classified, deployment locations are secret, mission details remain hidden. These sailors serve in anonymity, conducting operations that Americans will never know about, enabling national security objectives through capabilities the public barely understands. Type proud of our silent service if you appreciate the submariners operating these incredible platforms. Hit that like button if you learned capabilities you never knew existed aboard American submarines. Share this with anyone who questions American defense investment. Show them what that investment produces, submarines that are technologically superior to anything adversaries field. And if you've served on submarines, if you've operated these systems, if you've conducted missions in hostile waters, know that Americans appreciate your service, even though they'll never know the details of what you did. 7 advanced systems, hidden aboard American nuclear submarines, operating right now in every ocean, providing capabilities that ensure American submarines remain undetected, untouchable, and utterly dominant in undersea warfare. Acoustic superiority that hears everything while remaining silent. Sensors that provide complete battlespace awareness. Special operations capability that projects power into denied areas. Expanded payloads carrying weapons adversaries can't counter. Precision navigation enabling operations in impossible areas. Electromagnetic warfare dominating the signals environment. And autonomous targeting that engages threats faster than human thought. That's not Cold War submarine warfare. That's 21st century undersea dominance. That's American technological superiority applied to the most demanding operational environment. That's why adversaries fear American submarines more than any other weapons system. Because they know American boats are out there. Know they're being tracked. Know that if conflict erupts, those submarines will strike first, strike decisively, and strike from positions adversaries never detected. That's the silent service. That's American submarine capability. That's what these 7 advanced systems provide. Absolute dominance beneath the waves that adversaries cannot challenge and cannot counter.